There seems to be absolutely no end to the amount of content that the left is providing us as they continue to melt down over the 2024 election. Although their grief is now mutating away from crying and screaming all over the internet to now attacking each other, trying to figure out who to blame, who's responsible, who can we trust. And you got the white liberal women going off and saying, hey, I wasn't one of the majority that voted for President Trump. Look, we're going to make these blue bracelets in order to show that we are tolerant. We are with you. We are allies. And then you have the black liberal women going off and going, that's not good enough. That is nothing. And they are rejecting it. So we got clips of that. We also have clips of those in the mainstream media trying to figure out exactly who to blame, more particularly The View, as they try to rewrite history in order to justify their hatred of President Trump, that and more. So let's go ahead and get into the video.
I completely understand her point because I really do feel that this candidate, President-elect Trump, is just a different type of candidate. From the things he's said and the things he's done and the things he will do, it's more of a moral issue for me. And I think it's more of a moral issue for other people. We're just, I would say it was different when, let's say, Bush got elected. You may not have agreed with his policies, but you didn't feel like he was a deeply flawed person, deeply flawed by character, deeply flawed in morality.
A lot of Dems called him deeply flawed and demonized him.
But
now, of course, this is something that the left always does, and we're just seeing it here on The View for this time around. And what that is this idea that the current Republican president is so out of the norm from all prior Republican presidents that the issue here isn't that he's Republican, it's that he is uniquely horrible. And that is the issue. So you go off and you see them rewrite how they reacted to President Bush when Bush was in office. And remember, when Bush was in office, they were saying he was the absolute worst. He was horrible. He was a warmonger. He was genocidal. He was racist, sexist, and all of that. And they're saying everything about Trump is everything that they said about Bush. And so now that Bush is out of office, he's been out of office, they're going back and rewriting the history of how they reacted to Bush. And now trying to act like, oh, it was different and he was different and it just wasn't this bad. Now, of course, when Bush was in office, he was the horrible, person. He was the worst, the absolute worst, absolutely worse than anybody else. He was worse than his dad. His dad was a moderate. You could disagree with his policies. And yet when his dad was in office, oh, Bush Sr., he is the absolute worst, the most racist, bigoted, and such and such. They go off and, he was so much worse than Reagan. And yet when Reagan was office, and it goes on and on and on. They do this all the time. This is part of the game that they play in order to justify their fake news, in order to justify their over-the-top rhetoric, their divisive behavior, then language, their constant demonization of everybody is that they must claim that the current person is far worse than anybody that came before. And I'm just sitting here and I'm just thinking about, 2028 and beyond, when they decide to go back and now they go through and rewrite the history of the Trump administration, right? And how Trump was just this normal person. It was a different time. He was your average person. You may disagree with him on policy. Oh, but this next guy, oh, he is going to be the absolute worst. He's going to be every istophobic person. He's going to be the tyrant. He is going to be the absolute worst, unlike anybody who came before him. Not like Trump. You could disagree with Trump on policy, but overall, he was a good person. I can't wait until that narrative starts hitting in the future elections. And then we're going to play all the clips of everything that they have said over the last 8 to 10 years of Trump being in politics to show future generations just how despicable and what liars the media is.
Anyone else enjoying the White House draft like I am? This is the NFL draft of fucking 2024. Who's getting this position? Who are we picking for this? Who's from this Ivy League? Who did this? I don't know what half the fucking positions do. I have never sold myself on being a political expert. I am just an angry American who wants better for all Americans, so I sit here and I fucking rant. But is this the most active people have been watching this shit? Like, do y'all do this all the time? This is so exciting. And trust me, I've questioned some of the picks because I don't know what the position does.
See, this is what's going on in America right now. As the left goes off and tries to act like everything is extreme, everything is horrible, people tend to tune in and see, hey, what is actually going on? It's making them pay more attention to everything that's going on, and it's actually generating excitement. See, I get that the left wants to go through and act like, oh, see, if we overhype everything, if we claim everybody is extreme, then people will turn against Trump. You know, they kind of did this in 2016, but more and more people have woken up and caught on to the game. But what they are seeing is, okay, this is going off and causing the left to melt down. They're overreacting. They're upset about every single pick. Let me pay attention. Let me see what's actually going on. Let me try and figure out what all these positions even do. We talk about the cabinet and, you know, the left wants to go about how diverse or undiverse a cabinet is. And most people are looking at all these positions and going, what the heck do they even do? I mean, you can pretty much figure out a few people like the CIA director, the, press secretary. You can figure out, who the FBI director, what they do. You kind of have a general sense of the transportation and energy agencies, but there's a lot of cabinet positions in which you're wondering, what do they even do? What do they do all day? I mean, these are full-time, high-paying jobs. What do they do? And as the left keeps overreacting to absolutely every pick and trying to make it extreme, Americans are taking a look at it and going, hey, I want to see what's going on. And does this pick, make the left melt down? And hey, if the meltdown is big, then that must mean that is a really good pick, because we've all come to realize that if you just take the exact opposite of what the left's reaction is, then you're going to be sitting pretty good.
And I've asked for some clarity on X, and people have, told me a bunch of things. But I don't even need clarity anymore. I am going to base these picks on the reactions of the left. The more unhinged they are about the pick, the better the pick is. It's like an emotional meter. Like, once it tips to red, it's like that's a fucking solid pick. So, Matt Gaetz, I know you're the best pick out there because the left is going a little crazy. But this is fucking awesome, though. This might be really fucking good. Better than what we expect. And again, I'll say it, although the left is wishing on me and wishing my marriage ends and I wish you nothing but the best 4 years, because if you are an American, it's going to be nothing less.
And that is pretty much going to be the reaction of most of the American population that had voted for President Trump. The more the left tends to melt down and hyperventilate and overreact, the better it is that it's going to be for the country. That tends to be what we know, and that is the standard by which we are going to go by, because we're not going to fall for the same fake news crap that you all put forth before. Now, when opportunity knocks, the entrepreneur will go on and make sure they provide the supply to the demand. So what you see here is the white liberal women going off trying to go, oh, I need to show my allyship. How do I show I'm not one of the bad ones? And they're all talking about getting this blue bracelet. Well, now you have an entrepreneur such as this one going off and go, hey, don't make it yourself. Buy it from a black woman. That really shows your allyship. And they are now going ahead. They're making them in different designs and providing them on the website for you to buy. So we got grifters going off, taking advantage of leftist women from other leftist women.
This is the one with the mixed denim and blue. I'm about to put this one on the website. I hope y'all like it.
And this
Now, what you're about to see here is just how little that blue bracelet means to the people that the white liberal women want to show that they are allies to. Yes, we must cower. They're going to judge us by our race and think we're horrible people. Well, guess what? They're going to think that anyway. That blue bracelet couldn't mean anything because it's never going to be enough. It's never going to be enough. In fact, what we are about to see is them specifically explaining that the blue bracelet isn't enough. You need to do a lot more. And we'll hear what that more is.
This woman sees me. I don't know her, but she's approaching me. And she kind of rolls up her sleeves and she kind of gives me this little, and then I see it. It's a blue bracelet.
Now, maybe part of what's going to cause this blue bracelet to fail is because the white liberal women are out there going, blue bracelet, please acknowledge me. And when you acknowledge me, then I feel safe to be able to confront you. Or not confront you, but be able to approach you and then show you how much of an ally I am. And these are causing very awkward interactions. And those awkward interactions just goes to show more of how these leftist women are not as tolerant as they claim to be. They're just like the Pharisees of the Bible. They want to do performance in public, but in private, I'm sure when left to their own thoughts, it's a different story.
Okay, am I supposed to thank you for your service like you're a veteran? No. Now, this is not a knock to her. She could truly be like the sweetest person on earth. I don't know that. And that blue bracelet does not tell me that either. What that tells me is that you or somebody you know went down to Michael's and y'all got crafty. Okay? And trust me, the irony is not lost on me that in this moment, you are being judged by the color of your skin and not the content of your character. You want me to see you as one of the good ones. Hey.
No, what the irony is you going off trying to act like they did something wrong just because of the color of their skin. The irony is that you're trying to accuse white people of racism when you yourself are displaying nothing but racism. And this is one of those things that is going to be so epic in the next election, in the midterms, as they keep going off and try to show, the white liberal women that, hey, I'm on your side. I'm one of the good ones. I'm an ally. And all these black women are saying, I don't know that. All I see is your skin color. You are a horrible person unless you tell me otherwise. And what's going to happen here is it's going to cause a much bigger backlash in the next election against the left, because what it's going to do is jolt more women of other races, white women, Hispanic women. It's going to jolt more of them and wake them up to the fact that, hey, the left is just full of hate. The left is actually the racist one. And all this time they preach tolerance. But now, just because we didn't win this election and a majority of white women voted a certain way, I'm going to be punished as a result. That I'm just going to be judged this way. And so they're going to push even more women out as they go through and they open their eyes and realize, hey, these people are really hateful. These people are just race grifters wanting to get more and more out of me, but they actually don't care about any of that. They just want to take advantage of me to benefit themselves. They don't care about who I am, my character. They don't care about anything. All they do is they just look at my skin color, what the other people with my skin color voted, and somehow act like how we voted was somehow a threat to them. Like how we voted was somehow dangerous to them. Like we were voting specifically against them and their rights when there was no such thing. They haven't lost anything. They're just playing the victim, and they like to play the victim because that's how they guilt people into just giving them free stuff.
I don't want to see your grade on this assignment. Okay. This was a group activity. Okay. I want to see your scratch paper. Show me your work. You want me to see you as standing in solidarity with others. Do you actively support Black business?
I think.
And there you go. There it was. Do you actively support Black businesses? And if you watch the entire video, it will go, what type of purse do you buy? Is it made by a Black woman? Why not? Why aren't you giving more of your money to Black women? What type of lipstick and makeup? And she goes through quite a few of the shopping list and then going, are you buying it from Black women? Because if you're not, then, you're not a real ally. If you're not spending more and more of your money on us and supporting our businesses, regardless of whether or not our fashion meets your particular taste, then you're not a real ally. The blue bracelet means nothing if you're not forking over your money to us.
The point that a lot of people are missing regarding these bracelets is the fact that the trust has already been broken. That's number one.
The trust has already been broken. How? Just because we voted for Trump and a bunch of like 54% of white women voted for Trump, somehow that broke some sort of trust? Like they're acting like this was a vote to reinstall some Jim Crow law, which, by the way, was the Democrats who did Jim Crow. But they're going off and trying to act like they're victimized by the vote. And therefore, you should feel guilty. You broke the trust. Not you specifically as an individual, but you are not individuals to them. This is the identity politics where there are no individuals. You're all part of one big group. And if over 50% of that group does something we don't like, then the other 45% are just automatically horrible people. We can't trust them, and you are no longer welcomed here. Yeah, that's really going to help you in the next election.
And another point that I think y'all are missing is this is everyday life for us.
What is everyday life for you? How does the results of this election relate to everyday life for you? And what is everyday life for you? Everyday life for you being all those programs specifically designed to give more money and more help to the Black community that is not provided in any way, shape, or form to white people? Is it the companies that are going through and specifically saying, well, we only want minorities to apply for these positions? Exactly what is it that you're saying is everyday life for you? Unless, of course, you live in a Democrat-run state, in a Democrat-run city, whereby, say, Chicago or New York or California, and you're seeing all the crime that's been taking place and all of the mass shootings in Chicago and so forth, that makes life dangerous. But then again, you're voting for more of that. And so if you're going to say that the dangers of living in America is everyday life for you, and you're continuing to vote more for that, we're not going to feel sorry for you. But you going off and trying to say that somehow voting for Trump is somehow victimizing you, and that is just more and more victimization because we voted for Trump, who, by the way, his policies are actually going to help you. Give me a break. Get out of here. You are absolutely disgusting.
And like I said in my video, I'm not saying by any means that y'all are wearing these bracelets with any type of ill intent. But the main thing that I want y'all to understand is it's actions over apparel.
And there we go again. Action over apparel. So once again, it's going to be about how much money are you spending on building up businesses for us? How much money are you spending to support what we want to do? How much? See, this is another thing that is going to drive more white liberal women away. It's not just the racism. It is the nothing is ever good enough. Nothing is ever good enough. No matter how much money you spend on helping them build their businesses, it will never be enough. It's going to get down to the point where they're going to start saying, Well, if you own a house, you should deed that house to us, or you're not an ally. You really need to give up everything that you have and own. Oh, wait, they already did that. They already provided such a list. And so this is another one of the things about the grifters, such as this woman and the last woman, is that they're going to go off and try to use the guilt, the desire to be an ally to show that they are tolerant to be accepted in society without realizing how much society has shifted, how much we are not being manipulated by this phony victimization. And they're going to move further and further because in the end, people don't like toxic people. And that's what this is here. That's what she is. That's what the previous woman is. It's toxicity. It's them trying to project their own hatred onto other people in order to take advantage of them. And so it's not only the toxicity, the narcissism, and the racism, it's people don't like being taken advantage of. And that's all that's going on with the left.
But y'all have to understand, for us, this is everyday life. Okay, I see y'all coming out with the blue friendship bracelets to let us know that you're not MAGA. But question, how will we know?
Now, this person starts off with a good question. Anybody can wear a blue bracelet. How does that show anything? If, let's say, you're a Republican, you live in a blue state, everybody is going to look at you and assume that you're just one of those horrible, evil MAGA people. And let's say they're actually right. Well, knowing how the left reacts, how violent they are, anybody, even those who voted for Trump, can wear those blue bracelets in an attempt to go, hey, don't attack me. Because the left always does this. They always demonize, they always play the victim, and then they get violent. And so if you have to wear a blue bracelet in order to pretend like you supported Harris, just to feel safe walking around in your own community that is full of Democrats, then I'm not going to judge you. You do what you need to do to feel safe.
How will we really know that you're not a part of the MAGA team? Because it was a lot of, I would never vote for that side. I don't know why y'all would think that. But ain't came out and said nothing since. Not a peep. How will we really know that you're not on that side? Do we have to ask you a question that you need to know the immediate answer to? When I say immediate, no hesitation. If you're really on our side and I ask you a question, I need you to have the immediate answer if I see you in person. Because y'all.
Okay, so now it's not just how much are you spending on them and building up their businesses. It's not how much more are you going to bow down and give to them. Now you're also going to be quizzed. And it doesn't matter how much money you spend bowing down to their demands to say, hey, you got to pay this fee if you want to be part of our club or if you want to be invited to our party. But now that's no longer good enough to pay that fee. You got to pass a test. Are you kidding me? Do they not understand? Can they not read history books to see where this is going and why people are rejecting what they're offering?
Put it out there that this is what y'all doing to let us know. So that other side can see it too. So I need to know, how are we really going to know you're on our side?
I have a genuine question for Black women.
Okay, let me guess. Okay, you heard that the blue bracelets are being rejected, and so now you want the Black women to tell you what to do, right? You're going to go off and say, okay, I get it. Our ideas of how we can show you that we are allies is not good enough for you. So please, oh master, tell me, what can I do to appease you and get back into the tent? Please don't cast me out. I'll do anything. Just tell me, oh master, what you want me to do. I'm pretty sure that's the gist of what we're about to hear.
Specifically, so if you're not a Black woman or a woman of color, please don't comment on this video. Maybe look at the comments if this video gets any traction, but I really only want to be hearing from Black women and women of color. What I really want to know is, Black women, what makes you feel safe when we're in shared spaces?
How predictable was that? Did I call it or did I call it? Okay, yeah, I don't have to be Nostradamus to be able to figure out what someone's going to say on a clip that I had pulled and previously watched. But hey, I'm going to pretend like I'm a leftist and I have special abilities. And I'm going to make you think that I'm so much smarter. Okay, so in the end, that's now the new please, oh master, tell me what to do. Now, other people have gone off and taken a look at this whole blue bracelet situation, and they have another take on how to troll the left with the blue bracelet, and it's really quite hilarious. I'm going to have to mute the music, but there's no talking anyways, and it's just because of copyright, but you're going to see what it is I'm about to show you. Now, this is just some epic trolling right here, and it is great. Now, I've cut the audio, like I said, because of the music and the copyright, but there's no actual talking. And so what we see here is him just grooming his beard and going, I'ma tell kids that the blue friendship bracelet represents women who back the blue. Yes, they're going off and they're going to troll everybody by saying, if you wear those blue bracelets, it's the same as supporting that thin blue line. You're backing the blue. That is it. See, this is great because there is nothing that the left can do that we can't call them out and troll them and mock and make fun of. And it is just good. It is epic. In fact, if you go on TikTok and some of the videos that are also shared on Twitter, you're now seeing people going back to the old videos, the original reaction of the screaming and crying, and they're turning them into music videos, adding guitar riffs and all of that. Original content, not just seeking them up to music that is decades old, but rather they're going off and they're turning them into original songs. And it is really quite epic. So go ahead and check that out. But in any event, that is it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back again soon.